Oh shit. Here we go again.
Can you read? Wrap it up. You need to wrap it up! Wrap it up!
That's a wrap.
Woo!
Hey, vatos! What's going on? What's shaking? We are back here with the hotel from hell, with all the gangbangers, freaks, weirdos, stalkers, cult members. Yeah, like Paul is being disturbed. He's got a big full day of work ahead of him, and he keeps getting woken up at like 3 a.m. because someone might be lighting a spliff. It might be that Devon. He's always up for a sesh, but I think he's in Canada. All right, Paul B, Sheikh Al Mohammed Paul B, what's going on?
That was at 3 in the morning this morning, Sunday.
Sunday.
That's the third time we've had the fire alarm go off and everyone has to leave the building and the police or the fire department has to make a trip out here for nothing since I got here. Very sensitive smoke alarm in there. Before I even left my room, I knew what it was. You could tell what it was. When I opened the door, you can't really see it in the video, but the hallway was completely filled with smoke. Burnt popcorn.
So what happened to all the drug smoke? If it's a sensitive alarm and these gangbangers are token up, then why isn't it going off all the time?
When we went outstairs, one of the gangbangers came out, started stomping around, walking really funny back and forth and yelling and screaming.
Hey, vato, I will put a bullet in your dome, ese? You crazy gringo?
So I backed off away from people so he didn't shoot me. What's he screaming about? He's screaming about people smoking cigarettes in the room. Setting off the alarm, waking them up at 3 in the morning.
Well, don't you go on about that? Like, aren't you endlessly barking at this camera about that sort of stuff? Yeah, he's probably had enough of it. They say it's like a burnt popcorn, but maybe it was like literally a guy starting a sesh.
And he just repeats the same thing over and over and over again with all the vulgarity you would expect. And he kept saying, I'm going to tell everyone, I'm going to tell everyone, I'm going to tell everyone. You beeps, beep, beep, smoking cigarettes in beep room, beep, beep.
I mean, I would think Paul B would be on his side, but I guess he's very confronting and angry and a bit irrational. You know, Paul doesn't really know how to approach it because on the face of it, he would probably agree, right? He would probably agree with the gangbanger, but the gangbanger is someone he would not really want to associate with. So it becomes this thing where it's like, I agree, but also I would rather not be around you right now.
All the time I've been in here, I might have smelled cigarette smoke inside once, maybe.
Well, all right. Are you going to make a point of distinction here? Because you're always saying it's filled with drug smoke.
I smell drug smoke almost every single day.
Oh, okay, right.
Including the daytime when the staff is here.
Is it possible like you are just smelling the wafting, lingering, like it's on their clothes? Like if like they are getting the sticky icky and getting baked, and then they come like in their car, they're doing like a hot box, and then they come inside. Yeah, there's a good chance like the aroma of it is still lingering, but I don't know if they're actually toking up within the hotel. It seems risky.
He's one of the guys producing all of that drug smoke.
Huh?
This was a bag of popcorn on fire, and anybody with a nose that works could tell this. But this guy was all hot-headed and running around like he's going to shoot everybody dead, and he just repeated that thing as he walked all the way around the building to shout it into every room, to shout it out loud.
I'm guessing he has been caught before doing this, and he's like made an effort not to like toke up or light up within the room, and then he is probably losing his mind because he thinks someone else is doing this, and it might come back to him at some point that, you know, the management might get rid of him because they think he's still toking up in the room.
All the way around. It reminded me when I was at that hotel where I walked to work for 13 months and the guy held us hostage on the 3rd floor the whole night. Just yelling, I'm going to smoke your ass, I'm going to smoke your ass. That's all his vocabulary had. That's all this guy had.
Yeah, Paul is a timid fellow. I think despite all his, like, bravado and, you know, he mean mugs people from the car. I think if you get into like, if someone was actually going to get into a confrontation with him, he would back off or he would back down and be very conciliatory. He would be like, no, it's no problem. You go about your business. You're right. I'm wrong. But once he gets in this car, Paul unleashes the beast.
That's what I was paying 4/5 of my paycheck or more for every week to be surrounded by that for 13 months. So I could buy this car. This car with the insurance and everything in there came in just under $4,000. By the time American Musical Supply threw me into the trash a few months later.
I thought he threw a number at us before. It was $6,000. But I guess when he throws that number around, he might be including all the costings of the fuel up to that moment, or the fuel, maintenance, and repairs on top of what he initially paid for it. He might get to it.
The total I put into this car was about $6,000.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Like, so it's always this, like, you never know what you're going to get with Paul. You never know what he means by when he gives these numbers. Sometimes he clarifies, sometimes he doesn't. So it gets confusing. You just got to, like, watch these videos and make sure you keep paying attention.
But it didn't even look at the transmission. So the transmission was dead when they fired me, for what it's worth. It was a disabled car from the beginning.
Wait, is he recalling the story where a friend of his went with him from, not a friend, a co-worker from AMS went with him one day because he was begging for a lift to wherever the car lots are, and he couldn't take the car out for a spin because he doesn't have, I guess for their insurance purposes, he didn't have an address, he can't be insured. So what the friend did was he drove it around for him and said, "Oh yeah, no, that's fine." And like the car drove completely okay, and he didn't detect any problems at the time. I'm just wondering, is he throwing this guy under the bus now? Like this was a setup? MS knew that they were throwing homeless men to a disabled. Yeah, this is what he's getting at. This is wild because this guy actually took the time to come out and like help him out, and you know, try to help him purchase a car. And because he couldn't do the like your little ride around just to check the car, check everything was working correctly, he now blames this guy, I guess. Yeah, I think that's where he's getting at, is he's trying to imply that this friend, co-worker slash maybe even maybe it's that manager Steve who brought him to this lot and knowingly deceived him and said, yeah, this Ford Fusion is impeccable, great runaround. But actually the transmission, he knew full well that this transmission was about to go, or it was like dead already.
Now I have to lose it about 1 year later. Just give it up. It's all clean now. Or not clean, but the stuff is out of here.
No.
Except for that. And I have no idea what I'm going to do with this car.
I think you just call like a wrecker and say, I've got a Ford Fusion model 2010, you know, it's the sports edition. I will not be able to pay you to remove it, but what I'll do is, if you want to remove it, I'll give up rights, I'll sign my title and deed away to you, you can go wreck it, strip it for parts, and that will be your compensation.
Without a phone, I can't go to online sites and register for them where you could try to sell this, and I don't have a phone to...
You have a phone in your room. You've made this clear before. You have a call-out phone in the room, in your hotel room. You can dial out. You get an old directory if you must. Find an old directory somewhere and look up like a local wrecker, panel beater, and then you can negotiate something over the phone and say, hey, look, come over, pick up this car, it's all yours, I'll sign the title and deed away to you, and then you can wreck it and that possibly sell the parts on, and that will be your compensation.
Communicate with people except for the room phone. About the only time I've gotten calls on the room phone are 4 in the morning when someone's just trying every room so they can get in. the legal aid services that I called up and asked for a call back and gave them the correct phone number. They never called back. Minnesota legal aid services. They never called back, so I never got that phone call here at the hotel.
Well, why are you calling these people? Because you already know that the services are completely deficient and bankrupt, and they're just going to like skim your metadata, take your personal information and sell it. So why engage with them, Paul? You've already come to the conclusion. What's the point?
Well, I don't know, but I am between 1 day and 1 week away from leaving this hotel.
Just another car. Farting. Huh?
24 hours a day. The police have told me I cannot drive this car that I spent all that money on and that I walked to work for 13 months to earn. Those police have been circling through this hotel parking lot seemingly several times a day lately.
Well, it's doesn't it give you a sense of security? Like, you know, the boys in blue are always going to be not too far away, and if you ever have a problem, go out. Oh, wait, you hate the police now. You hate them.
Gee, I wonder what they're looking for. I've never seen or heard of them ever once doing anything about these people disturbing the peace with these race cars out there. This car went by, and it literally sounded like a cannon. Over and over and over, probably 10 to 15 times in that direction. He goes down about to where the next light is there, makes a U-turn, and comes back and does it again. And those police just sit there, and they do nothing about that guy out there with something that's literally as loud as a cannon. Just echoing across every building within the whole region, within a half-mile radius. And this person's just driving through the whole city.
Yeah, I used to live around, like, I guess someone on my street had a car that would backfire every now and again, and it did sound like a buckshot. Where you go, and you'd be like jolted away. You'd be like, oh. And Paul has to deal with this like 24/7.
Disturbing the peace. I've never seen the police do anything about them, but they felt the need to tailgate me and pull me over for expired tags, and then tell me I can't drive my car at all because I have no insurance.
So until they deal with them, let's just say they get every hoon, you know, like crazy Vato out there doing, you know, like doing the figure eights in the car park. Until they like clean all that up to your satisfaction, can they then come after you about your expired tags, or is it still not good enough? Because they can do both.
After I had sold off everything I'd worked my entire life for to pay for car insurance until there was nothing left to sell. Because I was doing everything imaginable to pay my bill, to be responsible. I went into the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles, to ask them, do you have any programs to help people in my situation get their tags renewed? And their answer was, I don't know.
No, they said to you, you might need to take that to Hennepin County, right?
I watched my videos on Minnesota government, Minnesota administration. They told me to call up Dakota County and find out. You would think the Department of Motor Vehicles would know
Dakota County, sorry.
that if there was such a program that helps people pay for their tags if they can't afford it. You would think they would know it if anybody.
I did look this up ages ago. There are like certain programs available. It doesn't seem, from what I gather, it seems like it'd be just cumbersome for Paul. There has to be like asset tests and like proof of hardship, and something tells me it would, like, as I was looking it over, combing it over, it just seems like, oh, this is going to be like completely out of reach for Paul. He needs someone to do the homework for him. He needs like a babysitter to come in and just like fill these forms out for him.
Nobody was going to know it, but not in Minnesota. These are the people I have to rely on for my survival. Is it any wonder I'm in this situation? I'll be posting a video soon that explains that more thoroughly as well.
Oh.
How the people that we have to rely on are the last people in the world you would ever.
Why do you need to rely on them, Paul? Why the fuck do you need to rely on these people? You can be self-sufficient. You can do this yourself. You just refuse. You're like a big baby. Nothing about this makes sense.
Ever choose to rely on if you want to survive. If you took everything I have left, everything in storage, things in that room.
Oh no, it's still referencing storage. I'm of the understanding it's done. It's finished. But as that last video said, it's preparing to lose storage. So whenever he does preparing, it's like there's a long strip of like these things could happen in between. So the process of preparing is like a long landing strip, and anything could happen between that time.
there's really nothing in the car anymore. And you just look at it. There's this, there's this, there's this.
Yeah, you're living very like a minimal lifestyle. You're like you're not over encumbered like you might be in a video game like Dark Souls. You've got too much like shit on you, and then instead of being able to roll sufficiently from like the boss that's trying to kill you, no, you're just like collapsing around, and it's a very slow process, and you'll end up dying. But now you're free. You're like light on your feet to go and do whatever you please.
This. If you just take every item I have, it is easily over 1,000 items, probably closer to 2,000 items. Each of these things I
don't know if, I mean, shit. Do I have 2,000 individual items in my house? No. I want to say no, like clearly no. I don't even know if I have 500.
purchased for a reason over the last 18 years.
Tchotchkes, dollar store junk, Chinese plastic crap that could be like replaced immediately for like pennies on the dollar, like very easily. Farting! Damn.
I don't see the police tailgating that guy. They tailgated me when I was driving the speed limit and obeying all the laws.
It is insane. Paul like lives just like in an area, I guess, the larger South Minneapolis area is just like a car park highway, like brown splat on a map. And it's just, yeah, of course people have like loud cars and there's constantly be noise traffic endlessly. You're never going to escape it. I don't know why the hell you're in the worst place in the world for like, in terms of noise pollution.
Except, of course, for the tags. I already told you about everything I tried to do to deal with that responsibly, to the extent that it's legal and possible when you're homeless. Probably 1,000 to 2,000 items in there. All those old advertisements I bought, all those old photos.
Can you give us a date? So it's not so April, it's gone from March to April. Like, does it go from start of month to end of month, or is it like weirdly mid-month? I guess he's mentioning it, so it might be a mid-month thing where maybe on April the 15th, the storage lease officially ends. And if it's not, if you don't put up money again for it within like a grace period of maybe 48 hours, they might take the storage locker for themselves and start the auction.
Photos going back to when the camera was invented.
Oh.
Photos that I paid maybe $1 for a bag of them or $10 for one of them.
This fucking creep was going to flea markets and garage sales and boot sales and buying like people's like photo albums. Does anyone do this? Like, it's such an odd thing. It's like I've never understood. Why the hell would you need this? Why the hell would you buy this? Why would you pay money for this?
Over years and years and years. All the home furnishings and decorations I had bought, all the tools I had.
You know, it was like a vintage can of Spam was going to be his piece de la resistance.
Wrenches and pliers and screwdrivers and screws, special tools for repairing things, tools that are specific for repairing and maintaining the car, and of course several cases full of well-organized tools for repairing guitars, refinishing guitars, remodeling guitars.
He's a real weekend warrior, Paul is. Like, he's got all the projects set up in a row, and he's going to knock them out one by one by one. But something tells me, even if he had his dream house tomorrow and everything's set up right, those projects aren't going anywhere.
All those. I do have those in here, don't I? I have a couple of these.
Maracas. He's got the maracas. He's got the Samba de Amigo. He's got the Samba de Amigo maracas. Oh, the egg shakers.
Egg shakers, shakers everywhere.
Lame. Have you got the cowbell? Tell me you got the cowbell at least.
Power inverter for trying to run something off the accessories thing here. Flashlights, my entire wardrobe, all the clothes that I bought over the years that I really love, that I really was happy with. All the
Wait. How big I mean, all your clothes, how big were you when you bought them? Because you were a very large dude at one point. You were like morbidly obese. You've lost weight. I won't cap on that. But will any of the suits and clothes that you bought initially still fit you, or will you be swimming in them? Because, man, were you a big guy at one point?
Those clothes I got from vendors at work that say Fender and Gibson and Mackie.
Oh, of course. Of course. Like, I want to say it's more than a 50-50 split between what he actually bought with his hard-earned money and what was just given to him.
And all these other companies on them, PRS guitars. Most of those are already gone because I had to trade them just to eat. Those shoes, those Rowan shoes, with the TR-808 drum machine on it, and the box with all the artwork that I had to sell for $20 at a pawn shop, that's gone. But I have probably...
I mean, realistically, like, is there a market for this very oddly branded pair of shoes that were like had a guitar vendor's logo on it? Like, maybe, but it's like I feel like it's a niche market, a super niche market. Maybe you'd get more on eBay eventually, but yeah.
15 pair of shoes and slippers, boots. I have to abandon all of it.
Why 15? What do you need 15 for? Jesus Christ.
All my big shelves, gone.
Gone.
The puppets.
All right. This is a weak spot. This is one of my weak spots. Oh.
And upwards of 20 hard drives, chock full of data. Just one of them has the 7,000 out.
What kind of data are we talking about? It's like terabytes of really questionable 3D renders.
Hours of recordings of my neighbors making all that noise and
Oh,
the visual graphs of the noise.
actually, that's more likely to be the case. He's just like endlessly recorded the original Hennepin County neighbors.
So you can just look at a 24-hour period and see how much I was interrupted. When my landlord refused to do anything about it, he blamed the victim instead. And he told me he wanted me to move out because he didn't want to do his job and deal with those people.
All right, Paul, this is all your greatest hits. What else do you have to say?
I just have to leave that and abandon that for someone who's going to come and pay $50 to get everything I have left.
If you've ever seen a Trump rally, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's just like Trump will just get out there and just do all the greatest hits. It's like, what was he doing? Like, I moved the Israeli embassy back to Jerusalem, and he got such a great he got a great deal on it, and it saved the American taxpayers so much money. And it was like, how many times am I going to hear this story?
It took a lifetime to acquire those things through hard and honest work. I don't have a lifetime left to get all those things again. American Musical Supply ended my life. When I have to leave this hotel, I am going to walk.
Look pretty alive here, Paul. You're breathing. Your color looks pretty good. Sun's beating down on you. Yeah, life's good, right?
Walk outside into the wilderness with whatever I can carry in a backpack.
I think he explained what the wilderness actually was. It's just like these weird scrubby outcrops and like marshy fields within the area that he's around. So if you think of it's the Great White North, or he's going to be like going up to the like Great Lakes area, and possibly disappearing, because there's like a whole bunch of like weird cryptids out there that people talk about. So I'm thinking Paul actually might run into like a Sasquatch or a Wendigo or something. But no, he's talking about like weird suburban scrub and brush, and he's just like going to camp out there somewhere and die. And that really was like a gut punch, because I had one vision in my mind for the wilderness like saga.
That will almost certainly get stolen as soon as I fall asleep, if it's even possible to fall asleep. When I tried that, when my cougar died, and my manager gave me a ride back because he wanted me working there. He didn't want to get rid of me. He wanted me there. And he was kind and compassionate and understanding, unlike human resources. When he came and took me back to go to work, I had that bag with a couple $1,000s worth of gear in it. And after work, I would go outside and try to sleep. And I could never sleep. I don't think I ever fell asleep once. I went maybe, 4 or 5 days without any sleep, working and then going out and trying to sleep, but I can't. I'm just too terrified.
That's a write-up, Paul. For me, that's a write-up. I'm going to write you up for that. But he had apparently he had an immaculate track record. But if I found you sleeping at the office while you're on the clock, it's immediate write-up, and it's a review.
For my life. If it isn't the coyotes that I hear, it's the rustling in the brush. Or it's when I did sit down or lay down, and all of a sudden I realize I'm laying on a sprinkler when it pops up and starts soaking me completely.
Yeah, I had like this great vision of like he's fending off mountain lions and bears and timber wolves, but no, it's like little coyotes going and biting his leg. Come on.
In the back. That's why I got so desperate I went out and got that hotel, which took almost my entire paycheck. And I had to start working even more overtime than I normally did just to pay that hotel bill and take 13 months to save up this piece of junk car. Where if American Musical Supply had just done the decent thing and rented me a car, which I would pay for, then I would have had a
All his greatest hits. This is all like this is like about as recycled as it gets. Like they couldn't insure him in this car. Like he would pay for it, but they had to secure it under their name. And it's like, well, you need to take the insurance out for Paul to drive this car, but you're gonna assume all the risk. And I just don't know if they could do that. I don't know if you would ever want to do that.
A car that was better than the one I started with in the first place within a week or two, and everything would have been fine. I would have saved $25,000 on that hotel.
Is he just needed to rent a car for a little while. So if AMS rented him that car, he would have enough time to go around to these car lots and make an informed choice, make the right choice. Instead, he ended up like hurriedly choosing the Ford Fusion, and by his account, it seems like this co-worker set him up to fail.
You're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe this.
I did see a fist just come across. Oh my lord. Because Paul has had some interesting interactions, like while filming on camera, on Paul's camera. All right, I wonder what this is going to be. And will he get it? Or sometimes he just like, he'll cut away, I guess, for this person's privacy. But he's in his own car, so.
What's up?
Oh lord.
I haven't driven in like 6 years, so I can tell you.
You're so lucky.
Because I knew it was getting bad out there, the way they drive. Bunch of nuts.
You're not from Minnesota, though, right?
Yeah, okay.
You're from the East Coast. Take care, Matthew. That fella is.
What? Wait. That car was running. What the hell? Am I crazy? Am I crazy just now? Was this car running? Did this guy come over and jump the car?
And he just went.
All right, we're going to go back.
All right?
Yeah, okay.
You're from the East Coast. Take care, Matthew.
It was running. What the hell? It was idling. Am I crazy? Am I missing something here? He wasn't just like turning over the battery. He was like actually had this thing idling. But I'm guessing the transmission is so fucked that you can't really move it. I thought this thing was completely dead. Like the battery was completely kaput. Maybe you'll say it.
Years old. He's not from Minnesota, and he's had a heck of a hard time out here. Very similar to what I've had, such that he's living in a hotel like this, and he just wants to get out of Minnesota. What I can tell, he just wants to get out of this place.
Paul, what the hell? What are we talking about here? That is your partner in crime. Get a plan together with this guy, form an alliance, and move on. Like, get out. Get out to sunny California. I mean, this is the universe coming together. Like, it's pointing you in a direction. And this guy could possibly either take you over to California or like drive you to the Rockies and maybe buy the Dharma Pass and get a little hungry.
He won't drive because of the way they drive.
Hmm?
I didn't think he'd walk over while I was recording, but he's a nice guy.
Well, what was the interaction? Like, it was just he wanted to shoot the shit? Did he need anything? What was this interaction about?
So when I go outside, to my knowledge, I've never actually slept outside because
All right, but it's just not going to learn anything about it. He was just like friendly and came over and said, "I want to chat. Let's have a chat."
I can't. You just can't fall asleep. But if I have to go out there permanently forever, there's going to come a time when your body just says you're falling asleep. And that's the point when I may wake up with the bag stolen, or I might just get killed, beaten, set on fire, all the things I have to homeless people who are by themselves. Because you see, I don't have a choice. I have to hide from civilization so that civilization will not hurt me. Specifically, the police. The ones who hurt me so badly here by not letting me drive my car. So I have to hide from those people. But in the process of hiding from those people, you're isolating yourself to the point where the weirdo who's outside for no good reason, who sees you, is much more likely to hurt you or to cannibalize you.
Yeah, like, so the idea is if you're going and doing the urban camping thing, I guess this like new generation of Jeffrey Dahmer is like thinking, well, I'm not going to go into this like very crowded homeless encampment and try to do like ply my trade here. I'm going to look for the loner hermit homeless guy because I hear they have the best meat and then he finds Paul in this like scrubby outbrush, like outcrop of trees, and then he finds his campsite, and then yeah, Paul is dinner, his damn dinner.
And I'm in Minnesota. Minnesota Nice. The most dangerous cult in the United States of America.
It's like the final boss of cults. Like you can't go any higher. Like Masons, Branch Davidians, Heaven's Gate, they pale in comparison.
I want to make it clear that I am truly and sincerely grateful to the social services who...
Oh, Lord. But...
put me in this hotel. I want to make it absolutely clear. When they did this, it was sub-zero temperatures.
Why do you need to make it so clear? It should be evident. But I feel like you need to make this clear, as maybe they are aware of these videos now.
And I was going to die. I was going to freeze to death in the 21st century, right in the middle of a wealthy town. Because the wealthy town doesn't care whether I live or die, or any of the other homeless people. The police don't care. The police, public safety. But only safety for real
The police?
people, not homeless people. They put me in this hotel because I was freezing to death. They came and found me. I didn't seek them out. They saw my video. They hunted me down and found me. And almost...
Who tipped them off? Did one of my viewers tip them off?
dragged me out. I really didn't want to come. The reason I didn't want to come is because of all the strings that are attached to this hotel. If you recall, I've said before, back before...
Oh, he's done this before. It's like, it's coercion. He's been coerced into this. Like, nothing about his situation right now is him agreeing as an individual. It's coercion, and he's basically being Gestapo'd right now.
For Christmas, the same social services offered me the hotel back then, or they offered to get me on the list for it. And they handed me those 13 sheets of paper with list of agency after agency after agency after agency that gets your personal information if you do that. What did I write my third book about? The weaponization of personal information. I know more about that than every social service worker in the state of Minnesota combined. But they don't listen to a word I say when I try to tell them that. Do you think I spent 9 years in...
You lose them every time. Like, once you start going on about that bullshit, it's over. Like, it's an alien concept. It's like they're trying to help you, dumbass. But he gets his dander up about this. Like, I've got to, like, hold the line. Hold the line as I, like, literally freezing to death.
College in computer science. And then spent 4 years researching and writing that book with all the research I did in between. And I don't know a thing or two about that. So while I am very grateful that they got me out of the cold, they more or less had to drag me here. And the thing is, if it had been my choice, after the cold stopped, and it took a good 2 or 3, 4 weeks for that incredibly deep freeze to stop, when the incredible deep freeze stopped, I would not have had a problem at all with leaving the hotel then if I could go back to the car as a car that I can drive. Because then I could do something to try to save my life. But the police, public safety, but only for real humans, not for homeless people, would not allow that. And in that month I was here, all the antifreeze went somewhere. It didn't seem to leak, but went somewhere. I don't know where.
Oh, God. It will become a biohazard if you abandon it. Like, where is this stuff going?
No transmission fluid, and I have $0 the whole time. I can't afford 1 bottle, let alone 4 bottles of transmission fluid and some antifreeze just to get the car started to drive it 1 mile to the library.
Why was it starting before ball? I effectively understood this car was shot. You could not turn it over. But yet, it was definitely idling when you were having that conversation. Something ain't right. What's going on here?
Where I was before, and then just sit in the car at the library and die. But die much more comfortably, not getting eaten by a bear.
Or else you will die.
Or by wolves. Or by
no chance of it. Like, maybe a timber wolf, but it seems like you're up against coyotes.
knows what kind of an animal.
Bigfoot.
She starts ripping my clothes off me. She did. She pulled my pants off me, and I'm like, oh, great. What? She's going to kill me. They're going to find my naked body here. It's worse. It's worse. As soon as she got my pants off me, she started, like, jerking the ween. And I'm like, whoa, you know, that's not going to work. You know, what are you doing? And then the next thing I know, keep in mind, this is a big Sasquatch. Like, comparable to, like, a big...
Or the worst animal of all. Human beings.
Oh. Nah. The most dangerous game. Yeah.
Social services doesn't understand why I don't want to sign up for the programs. Why I would not want to come to a hotel, sign up for, example, healthcare. They tell me, well, it takes 2 or 3 months for you to get an answer on it. Okay. Well, 2 or 3 months I'm out of the hotel and this address is no longer valid, so then I'm committing a felony again.
It's the trap card. He can play it anytime he wants. You've fallen into his trap. Like, anytime, anywhere, at any point, he can roll this excuse out on anything. And it effectively, like, absolves him of any responsibility. Because it's like he's in this paradox. He can't solve it.
Willfully, knowingly giving false information. Second of all, I don't want their health care. One of the other things I've
Oh, that's it. You just don't want it. Say it for what it is.
studied for 30 years is the corruption of this healthcare system. The
Oh,
healthcare system that killed off half my family. One of the reasons I don't have a family. I haven't needed healthcare. My
very, very vague statement. Read into it what you will.
entire adult life. I've never had a sick day off work in my adult life. I've taken a few days.
I mean, I'm guessing Laurie. He's talking about his kid sister Laurie, who was, I guess, misdiagnosed, or it was medical malpractice or something that they didn't quite get right, and she might have passed because of it.
That were probably designated sick days if the car had a problem, but I've never had to miss work for sickness.
You slept in once, and then there was another time where you booked time off, or something like that, where one of these HR people in Prairie wrote you down as just didn't turn up.
But I feel totally lethargic, out of energy. I can barely stand up. When I get up, I used to wake up and I just hit the ground running. Now I wake up and I feel like I'm gonna pass out, and it takes maybe an hour or more before I just feel like I'm even nominally able to just move around.
It's possibly the drug smoke. You're getting really high, because he was a few videos ago. There was like a series of videos, and within them he was just giggling to himself all the time, like very out of character. Like, I don't usually see Paul like go into these giggle fests. I was thinking, is he getting a secondhand high? And I think that's what was happening. I think you're like lethargically, like possibly still a little baked, and you're not really getting there. You're not getting up quickly because of that.
One reason for that is because in this hotel I'm kept up at night by breathing all this drug smoke all the time. And
What? Is he gonna? Oh my! Is he gonna confirm the theory? Oh, it's gonna be interesting.
aside from noise like loud stereos in some of the rooms, which they have dealt with and stopped when I bring it up, the person upstairs has been stomping and banging on the floor. They get up at 3 in the morning and go to work about 6.
Oh well, fucking excuse him. Yeah, like what a piece of shit that guy is. He's got to get up at like the crack of nothing, and he's inconveniencing Paul because he's got to work hard to possibly pay for this hotel.
Because of that one person, my sleep schedule is off by a good 8 hours.
Oh,
And I can't do
Paul.
anything about it.
I mean, what are you doing? You're like a teenager who's off school, like you're just like laying about. You're playing My Singing Monsters and looking at YouTube videos.
And now that my phone doesn't work, I don't have an alarm clock. So the only time I can get anything done.
You do have a clock in your room. Stop capping, dude. Seriously, you have a functional alarm, or you could possibly call. Maybe it still exists, like a service to ring you if you want an alarm. Maybe it exists. Maybe it doesn't. I remember it being a thing.
Is from about midnight to 3, which is the only time this person seems to just finally sleep. 3 hours. Then they go to work, but the problem is by that time I'm so tired I end up sleeping through the whole time that they're at work and the place is quiet. And then I wake up about the time they get back. And I can't do anything to get that schedule back to normal because this person keeps me awake all the time.
Imagine that. Like, imagine you are so angry that this person who's fucking probably soul of the earth, hardworking, probably on a little bit of on a run of bad luck, but man, is he trying his hardest to get out of the situation he is, and he's got to get up at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning. And man, is it probably draining the soul out of this guy. And Paul's like, I can't sleep. Oh God, this guy's keeping me awake. Oh, I mean, imagine this. What in the hell? Like, talk about no priorities. Your priorities are like shot out into space. Unbelievable.
All the time. I'll put on my headphones as loud as I can, loud music, meditative drones, and it will almost drown out anything. And yet I still feel compelled to jump out of that bed and run over to the door because it sounds like someone's just banging the hell out of my door, trying to get into my door. But it's not. It's the person upstairs. Through all of that noise, day and night. They did it up until about an hour before that fire alarm went off yesterday. About 2 a.m. they finally sort of kind of stopped. 1 hour later we get the fire alarm. That got this person up, and they went and made all that noise for another hour after.
I feel like you always want to be, if you've got 2 levels or maybe 3 in these apartments, if they're going to put you into these like apartment hotel blocks, see if you can get like a top corner room as opposed to like the one that's like directly near the entrance and it's on the first floor, because you're going to hear all the foot traffic coming in, and then you might have a noisy neighbor up top. Maybe think about this a little bit more, Paul, next time around.
After that, if you look at this person, I don't need to show you their picture. Go to peopleofwalmart.com and look for the largest person you can find. That's who that is. One time when I was going to the...
So he's a large fella, and he's hard working too. He's, it's probably not great being a large large person and having to wake up at that time to get going, it's probably a very big strain on you, and it could possibly like kill over at any point. I mean, you're pretty large, Paul. You'd probably make a lot of noise trudging around, surely.
The desk to ask them to stop this again, which I've never done.
Uh-oh.
Just to make sure. I walked upstairs. They're way down there at the end. The stairwell's in the middle. I walk up the stairs and I go stand and I look down there just to make sure it isn't housekeeping in there.
Wherever Paul goes, wherever he ends up, conflict will follow. Misery just seems to find him.
Because you got a straight shot, you can see the room. To make sure it isn't housekeeping. No, it's her. And she's standing there with the door open, stomping around. And almost immediately, she turns from all the way down the hall and does one of these things. What? Shouts that all the
Yeah, what? Fucking mind your own business.
way through the hotel at me. I can't even see her. My eyes are so bad, I just see this blob with gargantuan arms. Looks like a gorilla down there.
Huh?
Within seconds of me just trying to see what's down there, she screams, "What?" Folks, I did not want to be in a hotel. I was in a hotel for 13 months when I was trying to work. That wasn't pleasant. It is nice in so many ways. You can make food, you can make noodles. But when I had my job, I could do that in the kitchen at work.
Well, you were fired, Paul, so what's next?
And I had money to buy prepared food.
You were very well fed there. I think you were at your heaviest while you were with them.
When I'm in the car, I don't have to breathe drug smoke all the time. When I'm in the car, I don't have to hear people yelling and screaming, "Motherfucker!"
I really wanted him to confirm my theory that he was actually getting high through this secondhand smoke, and that's why he's so lethargic and giggling all the time.
Vulgarity is just all around me. And I will say, this hotel compared to most of this price range has been quieter. Just generally across the floors and everything, much quieter, I would dare say, than the other hotels. But when I'm in my room, I still get accosted by this stuff all the time. People ringing my phone in the middle of the night because they're just trying to get in and they just call random numbers. They don't care. It's only other people they're bothering. What do other people matter? These are Minnesotans.
Just disconnect the phone, dumbass. Disconnect it.
Somebody surely will come to tell them to stop calling and let them in. If you just bother people enough. So I have gotten so much less done since I've been in the hotel than I did when I was in the car.
What are the big projects you're on to, Paul, right now? Like, what's the big to do list? Is it anything about getting yourself actually out of this situation, or are you like emailing more Congress people about stuff that just does not matter and you can't affect and change? Not you especially.
And it's because of these interruptions and the noise and the constant threat of it all the time. I've got power. I don't have to find a way to get gasoline to start the car and run and hook up.
He needs like a bunker. He needs to go down into a Soviet bunker and just like screw it shut.
Yeah, when I'm in the car, I have to deal with these crazy weirdos all around me as well, what I call stalkers. Yeah, I do. But I'm safe in the car, and when I can drive the car, I can leave and go somewhere else. And then I'm safe. But the police, public safety, except for that part of the public that is not human in their eyes. Burnsville police, I am human.
No, you're dead. Like, I mean, you were human. You've been murdered. So, I mean, do you have human rights if you're dead? Like, if you're a physical corpse? I mean, I guess to an extent you can't defile a corpse. But are you given the same sort of rights as a normal person would have?
Shame on every single one of you for treating me otherwise. That's what wasted all of my resources the first year and a half or so that I was homeless, while I was expecting them to actually do something, but they did nothing but get me into their system. It almost feels like these people are on commission. The more people they get to sign up for these useless programs that you'll probably never get approved for in the first place, and even if you do, they don't do anything for you ultimately. It's like they're on commission or something. Either that or...
They don't do anything for you because you don't engage with it. You actively don't.
That's the only world they see. If the police had let me drive my car, and I'm not talking about across town, I'm talking about the 1 block to get more gas, to run heat, then I never would have needed the hotel at all, because I would have just ran the car and generated heat. It's less than a mile to go to storage and go to a pawn shop.
It was untenable, Paul. You don't have any money left, so it wouldn't really matter. So even if by some miracle someone will keep paying your registration and license and plates, you'd eventually have no money left. So you can't even run the car at this point. That's what he was getting angry about. Like at one point, it was like, I'm paying so much money to run a car that's like I'm running out of money, so I won't have gas, so there'll be no point in insuring the car.
And go back to the hotel. Less than a mile. And I've got the money for that. But since I can't...
All right, well, get on your feet and skip down the lane. 1 mile, that's easy, right? And you're not as heavy as you were before. Yeah, I could... Look, it's not an issue. 1 mile, come on.
Can drive, there's other things I could do. For example, I might be able to come up with some way to get enough money to renew my tags. But not when I can't drive.
What's the point? Because you're going to run out of gas. Once the gas is done, there's no point insuring the car. There's no point renewing the tags once you run out of gas to run the car, because all you want to do is run the heat, right? That's like the primary mission, is to like keep the car heated and cooled.
I am sincerely grateful for the hotel.
He's twisted himself in knots. Nothing of, I mean, it didn't make sense from the start, but now it's just like he's double looped the knot now. He's triple looped the knot.
I would argue that it saved my life when it was that cold. This American Musical Supply certainly wasn't saving my life. They murdered me.
Moida.
These thugs, apparently, unless there's more.
Does he have ADHD? I wonder. He goes from topic to topic and he goes back here and back there. It's like, and then there's like this word association in his mind. So like certain trigger words bring him back to AMS, or certain things bring him back to, you know, Governor Tim Waltz or something else like that. The neighbor that used to wake him up at night.
More crazy weirdos out there than I thought. But you do the math and figure out who is most likely to do something like this. Some batch of background crazy lunatics.
Oh, he always says bat guano. But yeah, he nearly slipped. Just slip. Let it slip, Paul.
Themselves to, I don't know, some people call it gang stalking. This YouTube channel, such that when I post a video, if I post a video that's an hour and a half, within a couple minutes, I've got more thumbs downs than I ever had on any videos before.
Actually, you have a lot of videos that are just like unblemished thumbs up. Like he's got like one video has 40 thumbs up and 0 thumbs down. And on those videos, I leave them alone. But I'm normally the one hitting the thumbs down. But no, he has actually a couple of videos that seem to be like, yeah, universally liked.
That Chihuahua Quokka, a tribute to a 14-year-old girl who's
Chihuahua?
murdered in the Holocaust. Probably had more likes than any video I've ever.
Oh no, it's this one comment in there that's where Chezwaza comes from. What's the actual name? Oh, how did you pronounce that? What is the pronunciation? Where the guy says it as it's actually pronounced. But there was one comment within the video, that's why he disabled the comments eventually, where it was just like, you know, her name is actually pronounced this, so you've referenced the name so many times, but you've got it wrong every single last time.
Was the identifying number of a young girl who was killed at Auschwitz concentration camp in 1943. Her name was Czeslava Kowoka.
Czeslava Kowoka.
Whoever is either creating multiple channels, multiple accounts, so they can go in and just repeatedly.
You're creating multiple channels, dickhead. You've got so many channels out there, and I will find them all. Got to find them all.
Throw a bunch of thumbs downs on those videos. Or American Musical Supply telling all of their gang of thugs over there to immediately put thumbs. And I've said it before, YouTube couldn't care less.
I think that might be the case. I think there's a lot of people in that office, and probably at the Eden Prairie office too, that are just like, you know what? Every time a poor video comes up, thumbs down it immediately. Immediately.
All it does is help me.
How?
It's the stupidity of it that bothers me. I certainly don't take it personally if people like that put a thumbs down on a video that posted 60 seconds ago and it's an hour
Dude, look at you getting so heated. If it didn't bother you, why are you mentioning it?
and a half long. They didn't even watch it. So it's not a commentary on me or on that. It's a commentary on how stupid that.
Because he puts so much down. Like, Paul's 3D experience also like opens a window of like how much pre-prep and like investment he had into the 3D renders, because the 3D renders were all about, you know, having a story visual component within the Chezwaza video, which was also like a documentary style thing. And he put so much time and effort into it. It didn't take off. It got no views. The comments were kind of like just dunking on him. And he rage quit. Like he just like halted the channel. The channel, I guess, stayed like dormant until he repurposed it for the fuck AMS channel, essentially. And then, yeah, like there's a lot of things where he's bemoaning the fact that these like TikTok little girl influencers just need to like do a brain fart of a video for 5 minutes and it's got 5 million views and 6 million thumbs up. Yeah, he was always getting angry about that and jealous. So it all makes sense to me.
That person is. It's the knowledge that there's that many stupid, vulgar, creepy, crazy people in the world is what bothers me. And by the way, it's the same world that you live in case you didn't know that.
It's really unfortunate. I wish we could like eject you into another dimension. Like it's like you are now like the multiverse. The Paul that exists in my multiverse is like you never heard from him because he was just a very normal guy who had made no issue of his life. I made like hundreds of videos about himself, like in these situations that are like really fabricated and bullshit.
These people are so desperate to make sure that they can't hear what I'm saying. If that is American Musical Spy who's doing that, and it's probably the backstabber as well, I would definitely expect the backstabber to do that, given her behavior.
I absolutely hope she does all this like weird shit, like just to fuck with you, because I'm guessing like she doesn't think about you at all, Paul. But I would find it funny if she is going on a campaign to just like secretly malign you and like just make things hard for you because you deserve it. You absolutely deserve it. Very deserving of this. But I'm guessing like anytime she thinks of you, it's just like a cringe for her. It's like, oh, it was such an annoying time of my life, and I don't know why I stayed at this job.
Get her crew to go throw a bunch of thumbs downs on it. And it doesn't even hurt anything. It helps. This kind of stupidity is what brings me down. You want to know why I've been lethargic? It's because my sleep schedule is off by 8-12 hours because of this person banging around
You're baked from secondhand smoke. Just say it.
upstairs. I'm malnourished.
Oh, Paul. I don't need a $20,000 health care bill to tell me why I'm lethargic. My entire life was destroyed by the people I trust most. I jumped down the line, bleed everything done, and after I proved 7 years, MS savagely attacked me. They ended my life. I mean, what is? I mean, he often stops his videos with this just like nonsense, like, and he constantly repeats himself like about this stuff. That is why I'm lethargic. I thought, how long did he pause that for? Jesus.
I'm thankful to the woman who goes out and gets these bags of groceries for all of us every week. I'm grateful. But the fact is, it isn't enough food for a week.
You have your housekeeper, the little Mexican lady, cooking food for you, right? Has she given up doing that? Have you pissed her off? Were you ungrateful to the point she said, "This gringo's crazy"?
I'm tired and I'm malnourished and I'm dizzy and I'm not able to sleep.
Paul.
And I've got the weight of the world coming down on me. And I've had to learn over the last year just how many.
You know how you've got your tiny. He's got this ukulele thing. Have you also got this tiny violin? I want you to pull it out and go.
Bat guano crazy people you've got in this world by doing things like this idiotic thumbs down gag. The only life they'll ever live, and that's what they do with it. Hold a phone in front of their eyes and wait maybe 8 days till the homeless person posts a video, and then within 60 seconds go and put a...
It doesn't bother him at all, guys. Just remember, it doesn't bother him at all. So you can thumbs down. It only helps him, apparently. I don't know how it helps him.
Thumbs down on it. This is the world you live in, folks. These are the kind of people who destroyed my life. These are the kinds of people who would want to do what they think somehow prevents people from finding these videos. It isn't them doing it, it's YouTube doing it. Because YouTube will not allow a video...
Yeah, YouTube suppressed and shadow banned the homeless consultant. But I feel like what it actually was nothing to do with the fact that it was homeless. They were probably on a very anti-Trump bent at that time, probably suppressing Trump videos. And he was all about boosting Trump in the 2020 cycle. And yeah, his channel maybe, like, I don't, it wasn't going anywhere anyway, but I want to say maybe that suppressed the views a little bit, just to shut him up with the Trump stuff.
...that tells the truth about anything that they love. They think social services works. It doesn't. They don't want anybody saying a bad thing about a liberal government like Minnesota, where my options to go for help are Tim Walz, an adult child.
He is back, isn't he? He's back as the governor. So he's like, he took a sabbatical and then came back. I guess he was the acting governor at the time, but he also campaigned. And then now he's just back full time.
Amy Klobuchar and Ilhan Omar, or I should say Ilhan, let's throw all the Jews into the sea, Omar. That's who I have in Minnesota in terms of government officials to help. Google does not want me saying a bad word about those people. That's why these videos get 300 views. It isn't because a bunch of childish morons are putting thumbs downs on my videos. If anything...
I mean, it's a really niche thing, Paul. Like, I feel like the channel will break loose of that once, maybe like a lolcow network or a Turkey Tom picks these videos up, because I'm guessing they're going to have to go through all these videos and my videos just to get like a sense of what the hell's going on. And through that, our tides will rise together.
They're increasing the chances people will see it. I could care less. Like I said, my main concern is that it demonstrates to me how many stupid, crazy people are out there. Jeez, and I'm supposed to take that personally. I've dealt with people who are really finely tuned intellects in my life. I've dealt with people who have learned about the world they live in. They're rational, they're sane. I've dealt with those kinds of people, and I get the respect uniformly throughout my whole life. I could care less what someone like that thinks about me. But when they do that, it reminds me of just how ugly and bad the world is, how full it is of stupid
It's an ugly world, and I'm an ugly man.
adult children. And that's depressing.
This is pure projection, Paul. Come on. I said it first. You're the adult baby. You're the adult baby.
And when I go out into the wilderness after losing these thousands of remaining items, thanks to American Musical Supply.
Not wilderness, just like urban scrub. Don't get it twisted.
I'm going to be at the mercy of those kinds of people, because those are the weirdos who are going to be out there in the woods, just walking around, starting wildfire.
He did have a fucking... Oh my god. Every single time, I think there is no real... like he's just saying something randomly. No, there is a connection. He had a story or something about an airplane crash in the middle of, I want to say, not the Everglades. What's that thing that Hunter Biden has on his back? I think like some sort of Minnesota lakes. Maybe the Appalachians. I don't know. Anyway, the plane goes down, and Paul is the only survivor, and he's calling out for help, and this random Tim Walsh stand-in kind of guy with Hunter's gear on comes out and says, you know, I'll help you out, and I'll do what I can. And like Paul initially trusts it, and then it gets a bit odd, and then all of a sudden he realizes he's been captured by a cannibal that lives out in the woods.
So you start walking through the woods with Mark. The question is, after you have traveled a mile through the woods, which of the following is going to happen? Number one, you reach the search and rescue party's main camp, and one day later you're at home in your own warm and comfortable bed. Or number two, you reach Mark's personal camp, where he shoots you dead and begins to cook and consume your flesh over the next several days. Because you see, Mark had heard on his radio that the search and rescue effort had been called off after only 3 days. Was an opportunistic serial-killing cannibal.
What?
And sitting right next to him while he gorges on his meal is the surface-to-air missile launcher that he used to bring down your airplane 1 week ago.
Shit. That is crazy. That's what he means. He's like, he is going to be back in the wilderness, and this Dharma kind of cannibal guy will find him. He's referenced this.
Fires, poaching animals, cannibalizing people.
No.
Those are the kinds of people who are out there where I have to go too high.
But the theory was, within this story he was telling, was the hunter cannibal guy Tim Walsh also had an anti-missile, an anti-airplane like missile system, like a very sophisticated one that actually like ended up shooting the plane down. So that's how the plane crashed. Just for a bit of flavor on top of the story here.
Hide from people like the police, who I should be able to depend upon to protect me, but instead they are among my biggest threats, because they don't give a damn whether I live or die.
God, it really is like he is possibly on the spectrum with ADHD. It's just like it's a roller coaster with these videos. It's back to one thing and the other thing, and this ties into this thing and this thing, and then it's up and down, up and down.
I'm not human to them. I'm just a homeless person. You gotta understand, folks. When I worked in American Musical Supply or in medical, well, not so much medical because I became homeless when I left medical, but I just left.
The medical thing is, I've never been quite sure what sort of medical he was working in, but all I know, he was managing it so well that they might have created like certain departments around his managerial proficiency.
Medical, I'm a professional, well respected, do a great job as always. I could go up and shake anyone's hands. The governor, a senator, talk to them, they'll listen. At American Musical Supply, same thing. The best of the best of the best. I'm out there in the world, I can talk to people.
You know, I mean, he talks about this CEO used to always visit the place, but I always assumed he talked to them, but just like going through all these clips I'm doing for a Project Paul, he actually lets it slip that he actually never talked to them. It was that he was the best candidate to talk to them, but he never talked to them. I always assumed he did, because the other co-workers like wanted him to be the forefront of it, but for some reason, I guess it never happened.
People at a gas station, I can go down to the state capitol and talk to people as an equal, and they look at me as an equal. Because they don't know that I'm homeless, because that job allowed me to maintain things like a shower. So I could do all of that, and then at night, have to go sleep in the car. And if I go sleep in Burnsville, these Burnsville police come up, and they look at me like some kind of a lazy bum, drug addict, just escaped prison, useless, homeless subhuman.
I mean, it's outside the drug use, it's a pretty apt description. I want to say, like legitimately, you are a waste of space.
I just spent the entire day doing things that are at a higher level.
What did you do? What did you do that had any like effect on your life in a meaningful way? Did you just watch YouTube videos and make these like rough edits and like make the script on the tablet? Because if that's it, it's about a bit. It's just bullshit.
Well, than most housed and well-educated people do.
Well, fill us in. What did you do today, Paul? Let me know.
But because I'm sleeping in the car at that moment, the Burnsville police come up and they treat me like this. This is how out of touch with reality these people are. This is their bigotry, their prejudice, their bias, their hatred. And the whole time, I'm defending them against things like defund the police, against things like police officers getting sent to prison unjustly. This is too much absurdity for one person to bear. Which takes me right back to how all of this started.
I mean, are you going all the way back to the place in Hennepin County, or are we just going back to the backstabber?
When I asked that backstabber if I could give her that gift...
Backstabber. It's not the Hennepin County noisy neighbor, it's the backstabber. But the Hennepin County noisy neighbor is like the genesis of it all. It's what like threw him into this like realm of chaos because he's now unhoused because of this noisy neighbor. And whether or not if he was housed at the time he met the backstabber, this wouldn't still be the conclusion. Like he would still be fired. Who knows? But I want to say like, yeah, that the noisy neighbor like set him on this path of destruction and like fake homelessness.
And she said yes. And over the next 2 months, she never retracted that. She could have easily. Wouldn't have bothered me a bit. I much prefer honesty to insincerity.
I've gone through. I can't really even say it anymore. You misrepresented what the gift was, and then you like it was meant to be a Christmas gift, and then you ended up taking 2 months to do it. And her assumption must have been that Paul B just forgot about me, and the gift he was going to give me has just obviously not come about. And you know what? It is what it is. I won't make a big song and dance about it. I'll just leave it be. That's where she probably ended up before you reappeared with this like. Well, she was already probably standoffish with him because he was super dejected and depressed that she had little to no interaction with him at a Christmas party. She was kind of like standoffish and just like hanging around her clique. And all Paul wanted was like his family to be together and her and him, the backstabber and Paul B, to be like happy together at Christmas. And that like fantasy never came to pass. It was just like a weird, awkward party. And he got very upset and depressed. So she was already probably getting the vibe that Paul B isn't quite there in the head.
She never did. She waited and 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 waited. Do that 60 times, one for each day that she waited. And then when I bring her the gift, I bring her that tablet. Bam! Within seconds, she's over there at a supervisor.
He brought her a tablet, and he had a posted note on it saying like a cryptic note saying, "If you don't like this, just return it to me, and we won't speak about it again." Like he was trying to not actually say it out loud, as to alert someone to what he was doing.
Showing him what I wrote to her privately, breaking trust, completely untrustworthy. He comes over and in front of my coworkers, granted he wasn't shouting, he was trying to whisper, but he didn't take me to a private room, just right there at my cube with people around me. What does he say? He says, "You've got this idea in your head." And he starts almost doing the circular thing.
Oh no, he's already done the critique and analysis of Paul, the proto critique and analysis. He's the original, saying, "You got it all wrong, Paul. I'm looking at this shit. You're off base. Leave it alone. Don't make an issue of it again."
But not quite. You've got this idea in your head. Let me ask you something, folks. If you've watched these videos, what idea did she tell him I had in my head?
That you were claiming she was a drug addict, addled, possibly like running keys of coke in the car park or something like that, where all her behaviors and interactions with you had become skewed from heavy drug use within this like 2-month period, and that you needed a intervention style thing where they like grab them and then like sit them down. They're going, "No, I don't want to fuck you. I'm walking on sunshine," sort of thing. And she's like, "No, I probably take antidepressant medication every now and again. I might have like a small issue where I need pharmaceutical drugs, but I am not like Scarface here, you fucking moron. You dumb prick. And you are hurting my reputation by alluding to this shit with your weird, cryptic website that you're sharing on the group chat. This is the idea that you had, Paul. And she was like, I can't take. So she took a week off before she came back and before the gift because it was getting so crazy. I want to say that's what she did. It wasn't really confirmed what it was. She could have just been going to see family. But yeah, that's the whole thing. He was implying that she was like, you know, completely out of her mind on drugs, like some hard drugs, like she's doing speedballs. Yeah, it was like that was his theory. It was like her and the clique would like scurry off to the toilet, and he started timing her toilet breaks. I'm guessing somehow, some way, she became aware of this to the point that she wouldn't go like do these toilet runs anymore for whatever the reason. She could have IBS, who knows? She could have a UTI, who knows? And yeah, and it was like, I guess his theory was that maybe she was doing bumps from her desk. But it's also like you have to consider the fact that Paul and the backstabber weren't even in the same department. So how he was doing this, how he was like craning his neck around like a window complex or something like that to peer in at her is fucking bizarre. It's just weird. He must have had some sort of vantage where he could see her moving around, even though they were like, must have been separated by departments. Anyway, there it is.
Because that's the question I asked him. Right there. Remember, I handed her this tablet message, which she gave me permission to give her this gift. This was the beginning of the gift. And it said things like, I'm not going to initiate contact with you anymore because I don't want you to feel uncomfortable in your workplace. She was acting so loopy and completely unreliable. I was trying to find a way to back away from this person without getting killed while fulfilling...
Getting killed. I always like that idea. Is like, she is demure little, like, I want to say like a gothy alternative girl, but all of a sudden she becomes like a lethal assassin John Wick woman and just like will slice his head off with like very few movements, and she'll just like start walking away and she'll go, mission completed.
My obligation to give her the gift I promised her I would give her. Not an easy tightrope to walk, but I was doing the best I could. I'm trying to do the right thing. Within seconds of that, she goes to her supervisor. Then a few minutes of that, he comes over to me, and I ask him that question. What does she say I have in my head? And he refused to answer that question. What I'd like to ask him if I could, because I don't know what it is. It could be something else. But here's my question. Did she say, this guy thinks I'm on drugs? Did she say that? Because...
All right, that's an interesting question. I would like to know that. I think the crux of it is, well, there's three main pillars, I think. It's the defamation of her character and the implication that she's a heavy drug user in coordination with the fact that he's implied that she's doing these drugs. Well, maybe in these videos he has now got the courage to say that. I don't know if the implication was necessarily that straightforward, that she's literally doing bumps at work. That's why he was like doing these timing sessions. Like, how long does it take you to do a key bump? And then like number two would be, what was the nature and like was this the gift where he has confirmed he has included the 3D portraits of her, or to what effect? Was it a simple, very plain her in a dress with shoes on, smiling, or was it like her in a fucking G-string with like a weird teddy bear next to her, like stuff like that? So it's like, this is the like sexual misconduct and making her feel uncomfortable aspect of it too. Like the last bit is like, this guy is like secretly wanting to get with me. He won't say it, and Paul will never say it, but there's like a crush going on here. There's like he would say it's a non-romantic pursuit, and it's a agape pursuit. But to her feeling, it would have been, this guy's trying to get into my life in really odd ways that's making me very uncomfortable, to the point that I want to like take time off work. So it's just not one thing, but it is a good question for this guy, is like, what did she relate back to him? And was it like, or does this guy think I'm on drugs?
Because supervisor, and you know who you are. If she said that, as you can see on...
If you watch these videos, supervisor, come to my channel, get in contact with me. I think I've still got the email out there somewhere. I will interview you. If you feel comfortable, I'll give you enough privacy and and be discreet, or jump on the Reddit or wherever you need to go. But would be nice to hear from you if you can. If not, I understand.
On this channel, go look at wake up call number 1, wake up call number 2. As you can see, I had never said a word to her about drugs. I had never said a word to anybody about.
No, but you did this whole very passive aggressive thing at the end of one of these like audio clips. You did like a song that went into this like diatribe that if she heard it, and I think she did, there is no other way to interpret it as this is a stand-in for me. He's talking about me in all but name. But Paul kind of frames it as, well, it was just a movie script. I was just a movie script, bro. No, it was like actually point by point documenting what's going on in this office under the guise of like a working script for Hollywood. Guano insane. Batshit insane.
About drugs and her name or her clique or even implied it. I had never connected those dots ever, inside work or outside of work, anywhere in the universe.
No, you just got even if you didn't, you were heavily implying it. It's only when you got in this damn car did you really start mouthing off about what you actually thought was going on. So it's like it's preference revealed, Paul. You're damning yourself after the fact.
Ever. It was only in my head. So how could she make that connection? Unless she was on drugs.
Fucking whatever.
Mr. Supervisor, if that's what she said I had stuck in my head was an idea that she's on drugs, then she just confirmed that she...
Look at the beads of sweat. Huh?
...is in fact on drugs. And if she said something else, I would love to know what it was.
Well, you might never know, Paul, because they kept it quiet. You couldn't start counterattacking her with the knowledge that someone's leaked it to you or said it to you or whispered it in your ear. Like, so, all right, I'm gonna mount a defense against this. No, they kept you guessing, and it's driven you bat guano insane.
If only to know whether it had any relation to truth or reality. But once again, American Musical is why I wasn't talking. I'm going to accuse you of things. I'm going to berate you in front of your coworkers. I'm going to humiliate you and shame you, but I'm not going to tell you why. I'm not going to tell you what you actually did that deserves this treatment, this humiliation. For a 7-year employee with no disciplinary history and the best performance reviews and attendance record of anybody there, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to humiliate.
It seems like it was the best policy in the end. Is like they kept him in the dark, and they were a bit like secretive and cagey about what the actual issue was, so he couldn't like strike back in any way. He just had to guess. And what he did was he fell into they played the trap card. It's like he gave them like a novel of what he thought it was, and what happened is like they probably looked over and said, yeah, this is revealing everything. He's like admitting to it because he's just like so quick to like defend himself, but he doesn't actually know what he's defending himself about. So he's probably like spilled his guts unwittingly. He's fallen into the trap.
Humiliate and shame and make you feel bad about yourself. I'm just going to do everything I can to make you feel rotten, but I'm not going to give you a reason why. And that is despicable. Only...
Where's the paper towels gone? I feel like because he was stealing them. He was stealing them out of these like bathrooms and stuff. Like the janitor would come in, and after he's done like berating the janitor, he would probably just like open up the case and take it. Because he would have these endless rolls of paper towels, and he is sweating up a storm here.
Only he knows. Because he wasn't talking. But if she told him that I thought she's on drugs, there is no possible way she could know that, except she came up with the idea in her head based on the most vague thing I could ever have written. Because she's on drugs, and people...
It's like Lynchian. It's like the narrative is so like it's scrambled. It's no one knows what's going on, and yet we'll have to like piece it all together through various different like commentaries and documentaries and like theory crafting. Like it's such a garbled narrative that yeah, I'm kind of like in a way thankful I make these videos like to somehow make sense of it. But even then, I get lost. I get lost in this.
People who are on drugs are extraordinarily paranoid about people finding out they're on drugs. The list of absurdities and injustices that have happened here never ends. I'm trying to back away from this person.
But I mean, I've asked this question before, and I'm not really certain of the answer. It could be a firing offense if she is caught doing a key bump. She's bringing in cocaine or, doing tar heroin. Who the hell knows? Like, but let's just say she does it in her downtime, in her personal time. She does this. Now, if she's coming to work and being oddly irrational, possibly aggressive, I don't know if that's generally what you would... Maybe cocaine would. Maybe like a speedball or something would make you a little bit flighty. Well, very flighty, I would think. But unless you are drug tested in the office, unless that's a regular thing, is it necessarily even a fireable offense to be under the, unless you can say for sure that this person is irrational, all over the place, throwing shit against the wall because they're like coked out of their mind. Or is it like, she's a bit fidgety because she's on like a very hard dose of ADHD medication or something. She's on like some sort of amphetamine and she might be a bit fidgety. And this is what Paul's seeing and like understanding as, oh, she's like Scarface here, like Tony Montana.
And when she did that with the supervisor, I switched her off. I was free as a bird. It was time to get back to helping those 30 people who got thrown out of the hotel by the police.
Oh yeah, that's another shelved project. So just another one. Just another one.
Who threw those homeless subhumans out in the street, but they wouldn't come to the hotel and help protect us from some gangbanger who holds the entire floor hostage for an entire night. They wouldn't help us with that. The absurdity and injustice and lunacy never stops. And I have to go out into the wilderness and abandon everything that remains from my life.
So, wilderness arc re-beginning. It's going to restart, but it's not what you think it is. It's just like more or less urban camping with like a sprinkling of Jeffrey Dahmer.
And die a kind of death that just shouldn't be possible even in a third world nation in the 21st century. But it's going to happen in Minnesota because of American Musical Supply, this backstabber in her clique, people like her supervisor, human resources, the legal department, but not the dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of people I actually worked with at my job who liked me and appreciated me. You know what? As I've been in there scanning documents to try to get rid of them, save space, put them on a hard drive, I'm finding even more and more and more of these notes from my coworkers that they would leave on my desk.
Yeah, I think he framed like one particular email from some department head was just like, someone gave him a compliment and said he did a great job on this call, and like they relayed it back to him, and he was so elated that he like might have framed it,
saying how much they appreciated me. The example I set. Notes from supervisors. Notes from my managers. I'm just finding more and more and more of them. Those are not the people who tried to get rid of me. Those are not the people who attacked me. It was these people who don't even know me who did it. They are attackers. They are destroyers. They are criminals, and they should be held accountable for what they have done.
But they did know I was homeless. You only revealed it, I want to say up to a year before you were fired, because I think someone connected the dots and said like, look, he turns up at work at all weird hours. Whenever the building's open, he'll be here. There's something a little bit off about this guy. He's always in the car park. Like there's something that he's not telling you. And it was like, I'd say a lot of people worked it out, but he came out and said it, that he was homeless. So within that year's time, like the New Jersey HR that hated homeless people put this plan into action. So don't worry about the other 6 years he was working there where they didn't really know. It was only up until that time that they had to execute this mission. And that is all primitive, mindless bigots need to know to exterminate a homeless employee in the name of hate. All right, this is getting, because usually when he says that, exterminate homeless employees, it's like the Ku Klux Klan. That was his big one. He always says this. But now we got the Manson family thrown in, and now it's the new player on the field is Hamas. All right, guys, very dense episode, like packed to the gills, but it's really nothing new. It's just him retreading stuff over and over again, and every now and again I'll be like, oh, I remember him saying this in a different way in another video, but it actually relates back to that, like this other thing, and it's like very confusing, but it actually makes sense because I watched too many of these videos. We're about to embark back into the wilderness, but we have clarification now. I feel like I'm very clear on what a wilderness journey looks like now. I feel like every time we get a little bit more knowledge and a little bit more understanding. So yeah, he's going to end up in like some brush or clearing. It's a little bit of like an outcrop of like trees and a bit of forest here. And he's going to go out and do the urban camping thing. And you know, you've got like a Jeffrey Dahmer of a new generation. Like it's the new generation. Like, it's, you know, it's like what is it? Degrassi, the next generation. And that will be his end. All right, guys. Will we see Paul in the hotel? Will he be in the husk of the car? Like, seems like it's coming down to the line, but I feel like every time we talk about this stuff, it just like gets extended or goes away. But I don't think he's going to be in this hotel like for much longer. And I guess he's like, with every video, he's probably pissing off the people that are trying to help him more and more. And eventually they'll be like, well, look, we're not really going to help you much anymore. We'll do what we can, but if you give us any guff, if you try to be like a male Karen to us right now, we're going to just like, nah. We're going to pull up stumps and walk away from it. All right, guys, I'm wrapping it up now.